Hey world. Okay, so I wanted to share something with you that I had learned, okay? Um Man, and I learned this years ago. Okay? I learned this years ago. Okay? I was working at a warehouse one time, and this is whoever this is going to help out, let God lead you. I was working at a warehouse and just letting God flow through me, teaching people stuff that God was saying to tell them individually as they was telling me they life problems, you name it. One day when I went to my house, out of nowhere, my rest was disturbed because it felt like all right here, like lightning and thunder was just shooting up my arm. It was so extreme to the point where I couldn't even do like that. Like I couldn't do nothing with this part. And it was just out of nowhere. So I thought, because coming into agreement with the spirit of fear, that was when I was in my newborn stages in ministry, I thought that was a sign that I need to lead a job. That's what I thought. So the apostle that was over me at that time, at that ministry, I said, it's time for me to leave this job because I'm experiencing stuff in my arms. I said, it's too much for me and I need to go. And she began to laugh, not laugh at me and what I was dealing with, but she said, your assignment there is not up at that job yet. What Satan is doing is there's a demonic warfare attack against you because of how effective God has been through you on that job, affecting certain people. And I'm going to tell you how I knew she was hearing from God. Here's how. They had to constantly, in the natural, listen to what I'm saying. In the natural, they had to constantly keep taking me to their doctor. Because I had, of course, at warehouses, they give you insurance and all this other stuff. The supervisor, who was scared of the manager under her, who had a Jezebel spirit, and this lady who's the supervisor over her was scared of the spirit using her. She would be trembling every time it came to confrontations, or when I would say this is going on or that's going on, it shouldn't be going on. She was so nervous. I knew God had sent me to that warehouse to help that supervisor. Leadership. Catch where I'm going. This was all spiritual warfare. I was experiencing a spiritual attack because when they took me to the doctor, the supervisor was the one assigned to take me to the doctor. I'll never forget her. I even remember her name and what race she is. And when we went there, the doctors would take off the cast. They would do all these scans and they said, there's nothing wrong with her arm. They was getting frustrated. I heard the conversation. This doctor got so PO'd, and I'm like, I hope he's not mad at me because I'm the one experiencing thunder shooting up my arm like this. It was both of them. It was so severe. They wouldn't let me lift nothing over like 5 pounds. I was picking up little tin cans, putting them on a little metal rack, sitting down for 12 hours. Catch me. I'm finna go somewhere for you. I'm finna help somebody out. Whether it's one person or a whole nation, a culture, whoever, I'm helping you out. Your bloodline. What I'm saying to you is this. Excuse my voice. My nasal is stopped up. It did not matter how many times this warehouse took me to their doctors, which was a few times. Naturally, they was not finding anything wrong with my arms. They said there's nothing painful there. We don't see it. There's no problem with her arms. And I still was feeling the thunder. It was like painful thunder, like something just hit my arms. I couldn't do nothing. I could not lift anything over 5 pounds, even in my own home. But when that apostle, who was in relationship with God, not religion, exposed what Satan was doing, she said, you are experiencing demonic warfare attacks because of how effective you've been. Once she said that spiritually, it hit my spirit so heavy, and God was talking to me saying, that's exactly what's going on. You are experiencing a spiritual attack from the enemy because of you obeying me on that job. What am I saying to you? If you are somebody that you're going to the doctors, you're going to the therapist, you're going to the psych ward, you're going to your nurse, whoever, your counselor, your mentor, and you're not getting better mentally, financially, or emotionally, or spiritually, and you keep naturally taking pills, you're getting drugged up, they injecting stuff in your system, into your body, they doing all these surgeries, and the problem is you're getting worse instead of better, that means this is a demonic bloodline demon. This is either bloodline curses you're dealing with that you have to deal with by the Spirit. By the Spirit. There's no drug, no pill on heaven, earth, and Hades, hell, Sheol, whatever you want to call it, that will get rid of a demon, because it's a spirit. It don't matter if you go into a mental asylum, a transitional home, until you deal with that demon, that devil, those principalities, rulers of darkness, powers, spiritual hosts of wickedness, high places, witches, warlocks, sorcerers, diviners, goddesses, priestesses, whoever is in the realm of the spirit attacking you, you have to attack them back by the Spirit. Sage is not going to work. Wearing crystals is not going to get rid of a demon. That's their best friends. Sage is perfume. It's a sweet aroma to demons. It opens the door to demons. Pay attention to people who use sage and wear crystals and all this stuff. Look at their lifestyle. Look at how much in bondage they're getting. Okay? Because if Jesus Christ is not involved in it, if God is not the root, source, and foundation, you are not free. You are in bondage demonically. But the enemy deceives them and makes them think they're free. No, you ain't free. So this is a revelation I want to share with you all that God taught me years ago, probably over 2 decades ago, that he told me to share this with you. There's a lot of you keep on doing natural methods to deal with a spiritual being that is an evil, foul, wicked, unclean demon that needs to be driven out and cast out of your life. First, by biblical fasting. I don't care what other fasting you try. If it's not a godly biblical fasting, that demon ain't going nowhere, because he said these kind come out through fasting. That's why Jesus Christ's disciples couldn't deal with a certain demon. That demon was like, look, I'm not a baby. I'm not a newborn. You want to get rid of me? You better get in this word and do a biblical fast. Not an intermittent fast, not no carnal fast, not no religious, a biblical fast. That's the only way I'm going to let your son go. That's the only way I'm going to let your health go. That's the only way I'm going to let the children go that you're supposed to have. That's the only way you're going to be able to experience love. A lot of these demons, because of how they got into your bloodline and what your family members did, who was witches, psychics, into astrology, tarot card readers, witchcraft, sorcery, divination, goddesses, priestesses, all this stuff. They feel like they have a right. They feel like they owe the debt, and that debt is you. Your health, your children, your finances, your mentality, your businesses, your gifts, your talents, because of what somebody in your bloodline did on an altar. And this is why no matter how much you go to the doctors, who most of them are not serving God, no matter how much you go to them, no matter how much pills they put you on, antibiotics, what they drug you up with, how much doses they give you. Hold on one second. Instead of getting better, you're growing worse. The demon is getting stronger. The attacks, the fiery darts is getting more powerful in your life. You're about to lose a leg. You got to get this amputated. Your toe finna fall off. You're losing your hair. And a lot of you, the problem is you won't ask God what's going on. Not being funny, that is foolery and stupidity to not run to God and say, hey, why is this going on? I've tried this pill. The doctor's done doubled up my dosage. I'm on 50 pills a day. That's not the way you get rid of an evil, wicked spirit. You have to drive out this spirit by the Spirit of God. Demons don't run from demons. They only fear God. They don't fear your doctor, especially if your doctor, nurse is not serving God, if your therapist, your mentor, your counselor, your big brother, big sister, your spiritual leader, if they are religious and not in relationship, that demon ain't going nowhere. That demon will beat all of you naked and say, Jesus we know, Paul we know, but who are you all? And beat you all naked and embarrass you. Demons are savage like that. They're vicious. They don't care. You better be someone that go to God and let God help you, because they only fear God. And they will begin to fear you when you serve God and obey God and apply what God is saying concerning why, are you experiencing all these issues in the natural, because it's telling you what's going on in the spiritual realm of your life. And no matter what you do naturally, that's not of God, that is of the world, the demons are not moving. You're getting worse instead of better. If you don't believe me, because I'm a human being, that's fine. I'm not offended. My heart is guarded with the word of God. Take it to God and ask God if what I'm saying is the truth. Ask him to expose me to you, reveal what he wants you to know about me. I've already been there, done that. Anytime a doctor, a mentor, a therapist, whoever that you submit yourself to that's not God and not anchored in God, anytime their methods are not working for you and you're not getting better, you're getting worse, you're having demonic dreams, you've been molested in your dreams, all this stuff is happening, strange stuff, you're losing your job, can't keep a job, can't experience birth, can't have a child, all this stuff that's manifesting, that's a spiritual sign that there are demons, foul, unclean spirits in your life, and they're not going to move until you seek God to the root to this and how to get them out your life. And one of the ways is biblical fasting, and God will give you instructions personally about the bloodline he sent you through, what is required for you to do by you choosing to, because God don't force nobody, not me, not you, nobody. And you got to make a choice if you're into God. But if you're not going to involve God, they will destroy you. As you can see with your kinfolk and them, they've already done that with plenty of them, starting with your ancestors on up to the present. Anybody that don't choose to run to God and find out what's spiritually going on, and you take Satan's kingdom and these spirits for granted, these evil, foul, unclean spirits, these principalities, powers in darkness and spiritual hosts of wickedness in high places, you can keep taking them for granted if you want to and being deceived by your own ignorance, by your own carnal thinking, your stinking thinking. They're going to tear you up like they did your mama, your grandmama, your great-great-grandparents, your ancestors, your kinfolks, your uncles, your auntie, your stepmom, stepdad, your sibling. They coming for you next, because it's not a game. This is warfare. Two kingdoms are at war. Satan's kingdom, God's kingdom. God's kingdom done already won. Satan just trying. He's just trying to see what he can get for scrabbles. He already know he defeated. So the thing is, you got a choice to make. God says seek him. If you're going to serve God, you got to seek him. Makes no sense to be in church and be getting tore up from the floor up by Satan's kingdom and you don't run to God. If you're in the world, makes no sense to go to a mental rehab, transitional home that don't even involve God, and you're getting worse instead of better. It makes no sense to lose another family member to a spirit of infirmity, or a suicide demon, a murdering demon, or incest demon, a drug demon, an alcohol demon. Just ask God, for the love of God, before another family member get taken out or blow their head or do something crazy, do suicide, take their own life, take somebody else's life, rape somebody else's child, die from cancer, die from lupus, die from something that ain't even never been heard of. Run to God and ask him what's going on. This is not natural. The natural is the mediator and communicator that something is in your life spiritually to destroy you. And your bloodline too. I'm Gabrielle. If you have any questions, feel free. Comment in LOVE, because it's all love. I just want to share that with you. I love you all. I'm Gabrielle. Till next time.